understand who killed the dog was.
Well, I just think...
All right. We'll give it a whirl.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm actually, I'm in New Jersey. The reason I'm in New Jersey, first of all, I just want to address the hurricane. Living in Naples, a lot of you reached out, and we, meaning my family, we escaped not losing power by freaking miracle. And the Gulf of Mexico literally came within 2 feet, not even, to the back of our house. And it finally stopped around 4-something p.m. And I got to be honest with you, I thought we were done. But it didn't. And I felt so blessed. And then I started driving around and I could not believe the devastation in Naples. I mean, I go to this little coffee shop called Bean to Cup in Naples and got completely destroyed. It's destroyed. And their house is destroyed. So there's a lot of people, what you don't realize, like Fort Myers is mutilated. These people lived on Marco Island. So there's all these areas like Captiva, Sanibel, Marco, Naples that they're not getting the national attention like Fort Myers, but they're pummeled. They're homeless. They're losing. I've talked to at least 4 families that have just their houses are demolished. So we escaped well. We have some families coming in and out of the house. I think there's matter of fact, there's people coming over today with their kids and staying. So, but I'm in New Jersey right now. So thank you for and I gotta say, the governor of Florida, he put out a state of emergency at least about 3-4 days ahead. And I thought it was a little too much, to be honest. I was like, come on, man, he's just being precautious now. I mean, it was like 3-4 days ahead. Prepare to evacuate. Do not underestimate. This is very serious. Lives will be in danger. I still have the text because I was traveling when I got it, and I called my wife. I'm like, what is this guy? She's like, yeah, but I gotta be honest with you, he prepped that state days ahead of time. So my hat's off to him. He gave me a huge heads up days before that even passed Cuba. Was Governor DeSantis saying, hey, we have a state of emergency going on and this is going down. So yeah, he definitely put that out there. And the amount of people that's coming from the East Coast of Florida and like Alabama, and it's pretty awesome. You see trucks and ambulances and police cars and fire trucks. I had to fly. The Fort Myers Airport is gonzo. It's not open, I think, until October 7th or 8th. And so when I fly out, I have to go to the East Coast of Florida, which is Fort Lauderdale, Miami, stuff like that. And 3 times now, I had to drive to that coast, and all I see is electric companies, volunteer fire departments, police, ambulance. They come over every single day, trucks with generators. So that state's really pulling through, man. It's very impressive what Florida's doing, I gotta say. So as far as the hurricane, we're good. But if you know people that need help, I don't know what you can do to help, but keep them in your thoughts, because it's not just Fort Myers. It's Fort Myers all the way down to Marco Island. It's pretty bad. So with that said, I mean, Naples, we have this beautiful pier. It's gone. It's just gone. The food thing on it, everything's gone. It's pretty wild. That water got high. I saw it in Sandy, New Jersey years ago. So with that said, but we're good to go. The Brewers are good. Now, why am I in New Jersey? So quick story about my oldest daughter, my firstborn. Before she was born, this was like during a Senate Live. I'm done with Senate Live. This is 1999. Probably around like the beginning. Actually, it was like mid-May. It was May, and my wife was overdue. She's supposed to have the baby, and all I remember. This is a pretty sick story. This is pretty sick. And yes, I'm in my car because I actually had to redo this podcast. I was at the end of this podcast. You'll see I got a great guest on. He's he's funny. I got videos. I love what he puts out there. I love who he calls out. And we're going to cut to him soon. But I had to redo this because originally my eyes were puffed because I was crying. I was crying. I thought I was going to be okay, but then I wasn't. So why was I crying? Let me get into it. So my first daughter, okay, we don't have a name for her. We have no, and I told my wife, this is a true story. I said, D, if we have a little boy, we want to name it XYZ. Not literally, but, you know. He wants to name his son XYZ? That's weird. Bruce is weird. Maybe he is a starter. We had a name. It was going to be after our grandfather, Billy Breuer. And if it was a girl, we didn't have a name. But I did say specifically, D, I don't know what kind of name represents an angel, but I feel like if it's a daughter, it's going to be an angel. And so we kept going back and forth with names. And I'd say, what about Angela? She's like, Angela? That has nothing to do with angel, dummy. That's Italian. Like, I don't know. So she comes up with the name Gabrielle. And she says, it's the archangel of Gabriel. And you know, neither one of us go to church. Where'd you, it's in the Bible, whatever it was. I'm like, I don't know, Gabby. Gabbaloo. I'm not feeling it. Kid's not going to be Gabby. So a couple months go by. What do you think? You know, you keep looking for an angel name. You don't have any. I'm telling you. Have you reconsidered Gabrielle? And I went, I don't think so. She went, well, I don't know. I've given you. You want an angel name? I gave it to you. So this goes on all the way until the month she's supposed to be born. That the baby's supposed to be born. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And I did everything. There's this whole, like, you know, you take a ring and you hold it and you put it on the belly, and if it goes this way, it's a boy. If it goes in a circle, it's a girl. Whatever it is, it's stupid. The Chinese chart, all this nonsense. They were all wrong, by the way. Well, baby's gonna be born. We have a name for this kid if it's a girl. I wanted to represent an angel. And I take a walk with my wife. We go to Central Park because I lived on really nice areas. Sunlight Live, doing good and making money. And we lived on West End, 63rd and West End, the West End Towers in New York City. I said, hon, let's take a walk. She's getting big, and I said, she goes, maybe it'll help if I take a walk. So we take a walk from the West End Towers to Central Park, and it's a couple blocks. And we go in Central Park, there's this big grassy knoll. It's a beautiful grassy knoll, and people play soccer, and their kids are there, and you hang out during the day, and there's ball fields and all this stuff. But there's one big grassy knoll. So we walk to this grassy knoll, and she's tired. She's pregnant, rubbing her feet, and she passes out, takes a nap. So while she's taking a nap, I'm looking out into the field, and I'm watching, you know, kids play with their families. And it's the first time where the name Gabrielle is in my head. You know, as a parent, you're looking at kids and you got your name and you're practicing. You know, if you think kid's name is gonna be Charlie, you're like, Charlie, Charlie, don't put that in your mouth. Hey, good thing, oh my God, Charlie, good boy. So you go through those scenarios in your head. So I'm going, all of a sudden, Gabrielle starts coming to me. And I'm like, Gabrielle, oh my God, you're beautiful, sweetie. You look like a little angel. Oh, my little Gabby, I love you when you have your pigtails. So the name is in me, but my wife does not know this because she's sleeping and napping. As far as she knows, I'm not in on this name whatsoever. This is such a crazy story. It's not crazy. It's amazing. I got to stop saying it's amazing. So we're leaving now. She wakes up. She's like, let's go. And we start walking to leave Central Park. And there's a track. There's a running track. People roller skate on it. They jog. They ride their bikes. And as we're about to cross the path, it was a little busy that day. This guy comes up to me. He's a little off, a little not threatening. Didn't scare me, didn't give me bad vibes, but there was just something a little off. And he goes right up to my wife, to her belly, and puts his hand in the belly, and he goes, oh my God, you have a beautiful girl. You're having a beautiful girl. And she's like, yeah, I know, I don't know what I'm having. She keeps walking. She feels a little uncomfortable. You don't touch ladies' bellies. You ask. And we start walking away, and he goes, when is she due? Like, hey, man, I turned around. I'm getting like a little annoyed. I'm sizing him up. I'm going to have to clock this guy. I'm going to have to clock him. I already sized him up. I'm like, I'm going to sucker punch him. He ain't going to know what's going down. You're messing with my pregnant wife. This is a setup. It's New York City. First, you pretend you're a friend. Then you like, give me a money. You take them. Nah, dude, I'm taking you out. One shot. Bow. Right about. I'm hitting you with an open hand right to the throat. Hey, man, I'm like, blah! Hey, man, I told you we don't know what. Blah! He's out. Saved my child already. So he goes, no, that's a little girl. That's a little girl. And I go, I don't know what we're having. And he goes, I'm telling you, it's a little girl. She's a beautiful little angel. Do you have a name for the angel? And no, like, what's going on here? And then he goes, how about Gabrielle? There you go. Gabrielle, for the beautiful little girl. She's going to be an angel. Every hair on my body that I didn't even know existed. I had hair on my calves that were sticking up. I had hair on the back of my neck, on my belly. I didn't have hair on my belly. My wife squeezed my hand because she felt the same thing. Like, what the? So you're telling me I want to name our daughter. I want it to represent an angel. My wife tells me the name Gabrielle. I go, nah, I don't like it. Months later, now I'm in the park thinking of Gabrielle, and we got to come up with a name quick. And I want it to represent an angel. And out of nowhere, this guy comes up and he says, that's a little girl. Name her Gabrielle. She's an angel. What? What is that? What is that? Like, I have nothing to sell you right here. That happened. It's so weird. I mean, we started walking away. We're like, that was weird. She goes, Jimmy, that freaked me out. Like, what? She goes, I wasn't scared. It was just bizarre. And I went, I wasn't scared either. And then this guy turns around and starts walking backwards with his arms open, and he just kind of merges into the crowd like a movie scene and walks away. What the? So when she was born, which was another whole fiasco. Oh my God. You've seen my bit on it. That's true. The first kid came out. They used a suction cup. Her head was sticking out this long. She had a big long head, and they're like, "Hey, congratulations." They give it to you like they're proud of it. Here you go. Here's your kid. Don't worry about the banana head. She'll be fine in a couple weeks. And we named her Gabrielle. So this kid, her whole life, she was an adventurer. She's a tree. She climbs a tree. She wants to go, 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 go. Always 20 steps ahead of us. Always. About 2 months ago, she's been down, depressed. I've done podcasts with her. She's like, "Dad, I'm leaving the country." I said, "What do you mean?" She says, I've been going this over and over and over and over. I don't want to be a career woman. I don't want to be part of an establishment where at this age, you got to be this, and then you got to go to school, and then you got to do that. I loved working with handicapped children and children needs. She did. She would call me all the time and show me pictures of the kids she was working. She loved working with the kids and taking care of them. But I don't. And she got really heartbroken because one day she showed up at the place she was helping these kids, and she was very close to these two, and there was no warning, like, "Yep, nope, you're no longer with them. You're over here." And she's like, "Whoa!" But like we got like right in the middle, so that really bothered her. She saw the whole thing as a system, and she didn't enjoy it. She didn't enjoy the health system, and she's like, "Dad, I want to be rich in experience. I want to be rich in adventure. I don't want I want to start seeing the world, and I will figure it out." And my boyfriend's coming with me, and he's a great kid, never even left his town, let alone the country. And they left today. And boy, was I a mess about 2 hours ago. My eyes were all swollen. I was happy tears. Happy tears. But it's a moment in your life as a father where your whole world just shifted. They're not going to college, and they're like, "I don't know if I'm going to see this kid. I have a funny feeling." It's just like, "Hey, mom, hey, mom, dad, it's our daughter. I'm in South Korea right now, and then we're heading to what? Well, I'm talking." Boom, they're gone. And out of all the things this kid wanted to do, I have to say, when she said that, I felt a peace and a calm in me, because I knew, and I feel this is her destiny. Always have. I just didn't expect it to where she's going. I'm going to tell you where she's going. And she said, "I think I'm going to keep a journal." I went, "Will you please keep a journal? I'd love to talk about it on the podcast. I'd love to talk about the journey. You don't know if you're going to influence other young people." I'm not going to lie to you. She influenced me. My wife and I talked about the minute our youngest graduates, we're on adventure. We're out of here. This is gonna be hard catching me. If I'm not touring, it's gonna be hard finding me. I'm gonna be doing podcasts from all over the world. That's my drive. That's my inspiration. This kid just kickstarted another whole level for me. I just could not believe. But this is the same person that went to Tanzania by herself to work at an orphanage, and taking 2 buses by herself, a 19-year-old kid, and then walk another 7 miles through a village. It was and then goes to Kenya by herself. And I mean, this kid is my oldest one, Gabrielle, is. So I'm excited. I cried like a baby. Try not to now. But they're happy tears, because I know this kid's off and going. Now, on an awesome note, so many people always ask about my wife and how's she doing. And if you don't know and you're new to the show, 6.5 years ago, now. She was diagnosed stage 4 cancer. She only had a short time to live. She went on a trial at UPenn in Philadelphia, and as of last week, she is off the trial. My wife is off the trial. I'm not going to celebrate. She ain't celebrating. It's just great day. Good news for now. We don't know what around the corner brings. And I'm not poo-hooing it. But for now, she still has to take stuff. She still has to go up and, have her blood checked and do that. But not the way we were doing it. So 6.5 years. UPenn, my hat's off to you for keeping my wife around. And, between her faith and the way she eats clean, which I'm not gonna lie, is a pain in the ass when we go out to eat. She tries to wait. She's like, "Is this in it? Is that in it? Can I have this? Can I have that?" And as much as I want to go, "Oh my God, I gotta remember, hey man, this is part of keeping her alive." I wish I had that power. So yes, 6.5 years. My wife is off that trial, and all I can do is thank you, God, for still having her in my life. So, to lighten up the atmosphere, I got to bring this guy on. I love his videos. He's a great guy. He cracks me up. He really does. He just pushes the envelope. He mocks the establishment, which is what I love. So please help me welcome Mr. Alex Stein.
He's a pimp on a blimp, high on steak and lots of shrimp. He goes by Primetime Stein on Instagram and Alex Stein 99 on YouTube. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Stein.
I like your intro, Mike.
Jimmy, what the heck, dude? You got me crying. I'm in here. I'm getting all sad. I'm thinking about Gabrielle. I'm thinking about New York, the guy naming your daughter. Gosh, it's a Primetime 99. This is a surreal moment. I'm finally with one of the, biggest comedic legends of all time. And you got me almost in tears, Jimmy. What the heck, dude? What's going on?
That's why I'm bringing you in, brother. I was doing my best. I mean, look at my face. I'm a mess. And
well, Jim, let me just start off by saying this, because I hate it because you've already got us in that, kind of lower vibrational, spot because we're sad. And I'm saying I'm a huge fan and I love listening to you on Howard. And I'm just saying this is a true thing. This is me, 100% honest. I like to joke around. My mom died of, hospital protocols recently in October 2021. She got COVID. They gave her remdesivir. I'm suing them, for medical malpractice. I would cry about it every single day. But one thing that helped me get through it, watching my mom die, and I trauma bonded with you talking about how you took care of your dad in the last years and how hard that was for you. And I know that process was longer than, the week that I watched my mom die slowly in my arms. But I'm just saying you helped me out a lot with that, because I realize there's other people that have to go through a terrible thing like that. You don't have any choice.
No, Alex, I love that I'm glad you got that, because I tell people, listen, it's inevitable. And no matter how popular we are, how much money we have, blah, 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 and how many followers you got, that's real life. And that hits you, and nobody trains you for it. And I tell people, I think I did it in the last special too, where I said, if you got that opportunity to be there, do it. Don't fear it. And at least it gives you a little closure. And I'm sure you're still pissed and mad, just like you said, and you should go after them. And I'm glad you're going after them. I mean, I'm teetering too on going after certain people to make a point for criminalizing us for not getting the shot. And I would like to go after your Keith Olbermanns and The View and all these animals, these pigs, these savages, these low-level human beings that made us, that quite frankly, they were disgusting and they were vile human beings trying to bully us into it. And now that we're not doing it, wow, it's weird. We haven't passed away. Interesting. But
Well,
they need to be held accountable, all of them, because they are talking to millions, and they are they reach those people, and those people listen to them, and they know that, and the networks know it, and they all need to pay the price. All of them.
100%. And I know you went viral when you were on my biological father's show, Tucker Carlson, talking about your stance and how you weren't going to do the clubs that required the vaccine. And this is the thing is, I know this is on the internet, so we can only say on YouTube, you can only say so much. We just want to say, I just want to start off by saying the vaccine is safe and effective for 7 billion people.
Yes.
Although shellfish is not safe and effective for 7 billion people, although almonds are not safe and effective for 7 billion people, although peanuts are not safe and effective for 7 billion people, although shrimp, and I'm a pimp on a blimp eating shrimp. So I just want to say the vaccine is the best thing in the world. It's even more safe and effective than shrimp, my favorite food in the world. So I just want to say they tested on 8 mice. I would only need 4 mice. I would be satisfied if they just tested it on 4 mice, Jim. So thank you, Dr. Fauci. Thank you so much for everything you've done for this country.
Absolutely.
Especially in the 80s, what he did with AZT. I really like what he did with that. That was
incredible.
Incredible work.
You know that. I mean, he just crushed it. He crushed it.
Okay, but Jim, I got to ask you this because I see your maturation, and I know that you're a family man. But what woke you up to what's going on? Because you've probably given up so many opportunities, realizing that we're living in a world of lies. So what was like the breaking point for you, Jim?
The whole trying to sell me what was going on. It's like, listen, I knew I go back before 9/11, realizing this isn't what everyone thinks it is. I go back way a long time of having these discussions of you're living. I don't even know what it is, a matrix, whatever it is, that people just watch a tube and are controlled by a tube, and then it's the Roman Empire. It's just but I would have to say, COVID was to me, okay, it's do or die time. This is real. They're not stopping. They're I don't know what the mission is, but it's not pretty, and it has no good intentions whatsoever, and they're coming for humanity. That was my own personal opinion. And then that's when I realized I don't care what people think. I know what I see. I know what my God-given instinct is telling me. I feel it, I see it, and I trust it. And the spirit within me was loud and clear, and that was the beginning of it. That I'm like, how do you not? In my opinion, the Nazis, they're still around. It's even here in our government, it is so obvious to me. And of course, I don't want people to go, oh, how can you compare? Oh, I'll compare. And it's my right to compare. Yeah. That's what called freedom of speech is. They're just not as blatant about it. They hide in different manners by their rules, by a lot of things. So that was the big turning for me, Alex. And and then I started looking at a lot of certain videos and blah blah blah, and yours would come up, and I went, "Wow, this guy, I like what he's putting out there." Like my wife started following Crenshaw for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I got to say, when I saw the patch, I went, "Oh, he's a veteran," and I was like, I got it. So, but then, I keep forgetting it's professional wrestling. It's visuals. It's, hey, like McCain, I was a word. So you don't ask questions. You're just like, I'm all in because so Mike, play this video because you caught him. Part of the Klaus Schwab, as we plan on what's going on with the rest of the world, and we will determine your future, and you will eat bugs, and you will like it, and you will own nothing. Show this video of Alex hunting down Crenshaw. And this, I got to say, made me go, I don't trust this guy anymore. Whether it's true or not, I don't trust Crenshaw anymore. To me, he's a mole.
The one, the only. I run into the man. The one, the only, Dan Crenshaw, I Patch McCain. But Dan, why are you retweeting Dave Portnoy saying he wants me to fail? F me. Why'd you retweet This is all a that? short I'm gonna put it in the video, but why'd you retweet all that?
What do you think, Alex?
I know, but why don't you like me? We're both from Texas. I can help you out. You're just not America first. You're a globalist. You're giving more money to
Alex, you
Ukraine.
assaulted a 65-year-old woman.
I didn't touch. You're such a liar. We have it on tape. See, this guy's still lying. I bet McCain's out here still lying. You're so full of it, dude. That's why you're gonna lose, dude. I know you don't know. You don't think that. It's gonna happen, guys. This guy's a traitor.
Are you an adult?
You're a globalist. Yeah, I'm an adult calling you out. You lost your eye for weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist, and you don't even call it out. Weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist, bud. You know that. Let me hear you say something about that. Well, and then I caught him again, and he tried to use the wounded warriors. And first of all, I just want to start off by saying, of course, I support the veterans. But if you look at the military, yeah, of course. So why would I say no? But dude, first of all, the way America treats our veterans, they treat them like crap. That's why the suicide rate is so high. That's why they're, the care that they get at the hospitals crap. So if America really cared about our veterans, they should do more. But this is the thing. I support every single individual within the uniform. But our uniform that's going in this military imperialism, when you go to the Middle East, you kill 1 million Muslims. Barack Obama does a drone strike every 20 minutes for 8 years, killing people at weddings, killing people at funerals. They don't care for weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist. Let me just tell you something. I'm a conflict interventionist. I think war is the most sick and devastating thing you could do as a human population. We need to not do it. But people like Dan Crenshaw, when you look at the $12 million that he raised, I think he's the second highest fundraising Republican. It's all from Halliburton, Raytheon, from all these military companies that are all voting to send $80 billion. Now we're at $100 billion going to Ukraine. When America's suffering, people can't even afford to fill up their gas tank. The middle class, there's no middle class, Jim. Nobody can afford to buy a single family home. The American dream has become the American nightmare. So guys like this, if you cared about America, you would help the middle class, but he doesn't. So we need to call them out.
You know what? I gotta be honest with you. I remember when McCain, when people, here's what drives me nuts, because my dad was a World War II vet, and I'm not, that doesn't give me any pest, but I studied and I learned that, where all these people get is a VFW lodge. They maybe get like a little, oh, isn't that a nice little statue? How nice, how cute. They don't get jack squat. And when you have a politician going, we're going to help the veterans, this is when I smell bullshit. I go, you don't need to be a politician to do it. Just do it. You know how many guys are out there that are military guys that have their own foundations going on right now? They don't ask for nothing. They got healing things out in Wyoming, in Montana. I've had them on here. I got your six. They're doing it, not the politicians. They're full of nitrogenous waste. They're pigs. They're useless. We gotta just start. I love that you're exposing them, because people are falling for this guy. And again, what I would have liked to see Crenshaw do, and where he lost me in that conversation, he didn't stop. He could have stopped and said, Alex, listen, was I at the globalist thing? Yes, I was. But here's the deal. He didn't. He didn't, and he tried to criminalize you, and that made me suspect of him. And people should, like, I will not trust that guy as far as I can throw him. And I pray to God he doesn't go any further up the ladder. I hope he's exposed and all that. So I want to thank you for putting that out there.
Well, don't need to thank me. Honestly, it's like I'm really just trying to, expose these politicians. And there's even a longer video where he did stop and have a conversation. But even when he talked, he basically didn't want to admit that there's an invasion on our southern border. And I'm pro-immigration. I don't want, immigrants. I want them to come to America and have a better life. But the sex trafficking, drug trafficking, you look at the prescription drug prices. People are afraid to even go to the hospital because it's so expensive. There's serious problems these people can actually go and address. But instead, they literally just want to go give more another $1 billion to the Ukraine. So for guys like Dan Crenshaw, people in the conservative movement, they say, oh, Alex, why do you go after the guys on the right? The left wing and the right wing are on the same bird, and that bird is going through a plate glass window. Exactly. And they just
wrestling.
And Jim, you know that, and that's the thing is these people want to pick sides. Is I'm a populist. I'm in the middle. There's some stuff that I'm pretty liberal about. There's some stuff that I'm more conservative about. So I don't like being, put into a box. Everybody wants to be put into a box, and that's why they do that, Jim, because they want us they want to separate us to make us fight each other, so we never go after the people that are actually causing us all these problems. So it's really not. I'm saying it's really not. It's an open secret, Jim. And these people, what I try to do though is I can never convince somebody to have the same opinion as me. I just want people to question the reality in which we live in. Because if you start asking questions, some of the answers you get back, you're like, this doesn't make sense. How did Tower 7 fall down so fast? 99.7% survival rate? There's just a lot of questions that when they start trying to answer them, they don't make sense. So if I can just encourage somebody to ask a question about anything, then I feel like I've won and I'm doing my job.
Do you feel, Alex, that the last couple years, you've seen more people awaking, more people going, wow, I never noticed this before, or I never thought that about politicians, or I never thought that about news, and they're questioning, but the more they question, the more they start going, oh my God, this entire system is got to be changed. I'm starting to hear that a lot.
Well, of course, everybody's starting to wake up. But the problem is the majority of people are still asleep. And even when you try to wake them up, they don't want to be awake. They got problems with their girlfriends. They got to pay their bill. They got to pay their rent. Sure. So it's like there's a lot of reasons that motivates them to stay asleep. And that's the other issue. It's not even. It's like you and I are awake to a lot of the stuff that's going on. Even if we woke everybody up, it's just like we started a 20-year war. Weapons of mass destruction didn't exist. Nobody says anything. We're going to find out with this vaccine. I'm just saying we're going to find out with this vaccine, and maybe it wasn't exactly what they said. And people are going to say, oh, well, Dr. Fauci tried his best. See, we need to hold these people accountable once we find out the truth. So that's my problem is that we can even catch them in the lie, Jim, but we don't even do anything about it.
We do nothing about it. That's what drives me nuts. So, okay, now certain people lie. Like the what is her name? The Burks with the scarf lady. What is? Yeah,
with Jan Burks or whatever. Yeah,
Jan Burks.
The CDC.
She comes out and says, you know what? We knew, end quote, we knew it wasn't as effective. Right there, to me, that's a crime against humanity. You just admitted a crime against humanity that you lied to. You knew everyone was around the TV set watching you every day and trusting every word you said. They need to be held accountable. Every single one of them.
But this is the problem. It's Deborah Burks.
But no one does it.
Yeah, but this is the problem, Jimmy, is we're freaking not run by human beings. We're run by multinational corporations. You look at Apple Computers. They're one of the biggest corporations in the world. They can buy and sell these politicians like toilet paper. And that's why America is losing, because the Industrial Revolution is what made this country great. We built crap and we sold crap. But instead, now we've outsourced it everywhere. So now Apple, they have a thing called the Foxconn factories in Shandong, China, where the conditions are so poor that they have suicide nets for their employees because so many employees are jumping off the roof. And Apple Computers, one of the number one companies in all of America, instead of making better working conditions in Shandong, China, they build stronger nets. They build bigger nets. So this shows you how much empathy these companies have for human beings. They have zero. All they care about is dollars and cents. And that's the problem, is that we do not have people that are in power that are empathetic to the needs of human beings. We have corporations that are running this almost like out of a sci-fi dystopian George Orwell, 1984, whatever you want to call it. All the predictive programming was 100% right. Human beings aren't calling the shots. It's CEOs at the top of corporations, and it's literal computers, artificial intelligence, algorithms, whatever they think helps them, monetarily. That is a system they put in place, and we are the current slaves to the system. And that's the problem when it comes to taking away. This is what they do: is they take away your freedom under the guise of safety. They say, "Oh well, you can't go out to the store because we're going to keep you safe. Oh, you got to wear a mask because we're going to keep you safe." But at the end of the day, when you trade that, you're going to end up with no freedom and no safety. And people don't realize that, Jim. That's why it's so important to be civilly disobedient. Not so much where you get arrested, not so much where, even though the January 6th thing is a huge sham, we can't give them the ammunition to put us in jail. I'm just saying, we have to be disobedient in a way that doesn't make us subject to law enforcement. And that's what everybody should be doing.
What do you think, though, where does it go? Where's this going? Just as a thought process, how do you see where this goes?
Well, I'm different in my opinion. A lot of people are think, oh, civil war, civil war, civil war. I just don't. I don't think that. I personally don't think that.
That's
I think
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that is. I tend to agree with that 100%. Now, are there going to be some crazy people that might shoot each other? Yeah, but that's going to be a small people. Most people don't want to do that. But for me, where does it go? I mean, I think it's inevitable that we end up. This is just me being conspiratorial.
That's just you.
I'm just saying, I believe it's going to get so crazy, Jim. If I'm talking about 100 years ahead, I think they're going to say, oh, climate change is so bad, we need to plug you into the metaverse. And in this metaverse, the reality is indistinguishable from the virtual world. And in the virtual world, you get your dad back, Jim. I get my mom back. I get a 10-inch dong. I get to be a multimillionaire. And you plug into the matrix. No, seriously. And they're going to say, oh,
yeah, I get to be LeBron. I get to be
LeBron. I get to be Tony Romo. I get to win the Super Bowl every year. Whatever fantasy you want, vanilla sky. And they're going to trick people. And guess what, Jim? They're going to sign up, and they're going to be a line around the block. Every single person in Manhattan is going to say, oh, I want to be in the tube. I want to be in the tube. Put me in the tube. Oh, did you hear? You get to be plugged into the tube. You live in the tube. It's so cool. And people are going to fall for it. And as soon as you plug into that machine, you're dead. They kill you. You think, oh, I'm going to be intubated and be alive. No, you're dead. And that is what they're going to do, is they're going to convince people it's out of the Georgia Guidestones. They want to get the population to 500 million. Obviously that's a conspiracy, but I'm just saying these elites do not care about us one bit. If they did care about us, they wouldn't test something on 8 mice and say safe and effective for everyone.
Whoops. Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, whoopsie.
What?
The data was incorrect. Oh, we made a mistake. Oh, we were wrong. Sorry. Oopsie poopsie.
Oh my God. Sorry, eat it. That's basically at the end of the day. Well, I don't know. I do believe that. I don't try to figure out. I try to get as simple as possible. I try to tap back into God and family and nature. It's the only thing that keeps me sane anymore, because the rest is just everyone talks about. I feel like I'm in a jungle and I'm losing my mind, because that's all anyone talks about now. And so every time I think things are changing rapidly, then it's like what you said. I think the majority is not woke up yet. I think the majority knows something's off and something's wrong, but there's a small percentage that will never change, and that's fine. But they just don't know and then there's people like us, like, listen, you guys have no clue what's going down. And even us, there's so many layers that we're incapable. Like we can't even.
We have no idea. But see, Jim, this is the problem, though. We always have to make this point, or I try to make this point so strong. It's like, yeah, there's stuff we don't know, but it's a foundational lie. They tell you as soon as you get into school that 2 rocks smashed together and everything came from nothing. The Big Bang Theory. And that you evolved from literal pond scum. That lightning hit a pond, and then you were a fish, and then a fish grew a penis, and then that penis had sex with a woman, and then here we go. And so it's that atheistic mindset. No, seriously, it's that atheistic mindset where we're just all a cosmic accident. Yet, Jim, at one point, you had 8,000 grandparents that had to have sex at that exact time. Your grandfather couldn't have pulled out. Your great grandmother had to bust a nut in the right time at the right place for you to even be here. We won the life lottery, Jim, and they lie to you. They make you think, oh well, your life sucks. Yet the real reality is we hit the lottery as soon as you were born. We hit the lottery, and that's the lie. If we can make more people realize that their life is meaningful and that you're just even lucky to be here for this short ride. You get one ride, and you better savor the flavor and not let the New World Order take away all your happiness. Then people will start realizing, oh, let me take some self-accountability, and let me just start not worrying about the opinions of strangers. And that's what changed, too, for me, Jim, and that's what made me actually successful, is I wasn't trying to please anybody. I just said, I'm going to be unapologetically myself. Some people are going to hate me, but you know what? The more hate I got, the more love I got. And I think that can be extrapolated for everything. When you stop worrying about the opinions of strangers, there's this saying, it's like your biggest fan is a stranger and your biggest enemy is somebody close to you. So my point being is, don't worry about these opinions of strangers. Once you stop worrying about that, your life becomes much better, much less anxious. And then you can actually start being yourself.
Alex, you nailed it on the head. The minute I didn't care about the hate that would come my way for the things that I felt and said, which I still don't. I don't. As long as you're coming from a good place and you feel and know it's right, it's okay, because some people are just not gonna. It's just like that. I forgot who the interview is, or the KGB guy years ago in the '80s, where he said, "I'm gonna show you the truth one day, and you're not gonna believe it. As a matter of fact, you're gonna fight and rather keep the lie going than anything else." That is truly the Matrix, where I could sit here and go, "This is water," and someone will go, "No, it's not. No, it's not." Like, no, it's what? No, it's not. And that's where we're at. It's mind-boggling, but it's also exciting at the same time, because I feel so much free. I feel like I've been freed. My soul has been freed. And no matter where it goes, I know I'm on a path. I may make mistakes, and I'm going to make mistakes, but as long as we keep putting what we feel is truth, that's all we can do. It makes me sleep a little better at night. That's all. I'm tired of just sitting and letting it all roll over. Got to put something out there. Go ahead.
Well, Jim, I want to say this. So that's why I started to go viral is I started my podcast. I worked for a TV show called Cheaters here in Dallas. And I can only say so much. I signed an NDA where we catch people cheating on their husbands and wives. And then the host died of a fentanyl drug overdose. It was a good friend of mine. He bought some street pills, had fentanyl, and died. They said, "Alex, you're going to be the host of the show." Then when it came time to shoot April 2020, they picked a DJ from New York, a guy named Peter Guns, and they changed his last name to Panky, and the show's distributed by Viacom. So that shows you the social justice stuff. But my point being is I was devastated, Jim. I was like, oh, I finally got a job. I'm hosting a reality TV show. I did it. I made it. Then it got taken away from me. And instead of going back to work there as a producer, I started my own podcast. And then when I started my podcast, I started going to these public meetings and I started speaking seriously. All these politicians looked at me like I was a tinfoil hat asshole. Like, who is this guy? Yes, talking about 9/11, talking about, giving us stats, right, all this. They're like, F this guy. And then when I realized that these politicians are what we call NPCs, non-playable characters in the video game of life. Like in a video game, you try to get your character to interact with them. It's very similar to real life. It's like these NPCs that say, safe and effective on my 5th booster, whatever that mainstream agenda is, they believe it. But my point being is once I started to mock them, Jimmy, once I started to make fun of them, that was it. That changed the whole pace. And that's what I realized. We have to use humor because we are under constant trauma-based mind control, where every time they turn on CNN, 5,000 dead, 100,000 dead, 300,000 dead. It's always going up, and you're gonna have that cortisol release, the fear hormone, and people get addicted to it. So the only way to break people out of that cortisol release is to make them laugh. And once you can start making people laugh, it changes the whole entire game. And these people that are so ultra serious, I'm the mayor, I'm the city councilman.
That's right.
And then you cut him down a peg. You're like, oh, wow, I'm the same as this guy. Because we're all the same. We all have problems. We all, have whatever issue. Maybe it's different for each person, but nobody's perfect. And once we can call them out and make fun of stuff and start laughing again, then our culture war, as we call it, will start shifting in our favor.
You're absolutely right, because I want to show a video that you did and made me freaking belly laugh. And I'm sure they thought you were a lunatic, but you were over the top. I don't know if you were in front of Congress. I don't know where you were. Mike, which one of these videos play? Do you know what he's sitting there in front of? I don't even remember what the hell you were talking about.
Is that the Ukraine video?
Are you talking about that? When I joined, this is Tucker's favorite video where I try to recruit the Plano or the Richardson City Council to join the Ukrainian Foreign Legion. That was what got me on Tucker. That's his favorite video of all.
Yes.
Of all of mine. Well, this is a Plano. This is where I rap. This is the rapping one. But this one is this huge one. I rapped about Vladimir Zelensky. But if you go on the YouTube, I don't know if you can find it on the YouTube, but it's Alex Stein, Ukrainian Foreign Legion. But this video is probably my biggest video where I was rapping about Ukraine.
I couldn't. Now, who are you talking in front of right here? Who are you? See,
This is a Plano City Council, the mayor of Plano and all the politicians. Yeah. Yes. But this is my biggest video.
When you make fun of, when you realize just because if they purposely go on a higher altar to look down on you, they purposely wear certain clothes to make them more important and very, authoritative.
That's why I do it, Jim. That's why I do it, to make fun of them. That's why I dress nice, to try to expose them. Anybody can put on a suit and tie and look nice, but I'm an insane person. I have a bunch of mental health issues. Like, I'm a nut job, but you put on the suit, all of a sudden, oh, look at this proper guy. Look, he looks like he knows what he's talking about. It's all fake. That's right. It's all bull crap.
That's right. This one's funny too. So you're rapping, and I was howling of the absurdity of this because it's so damn funny to me. Good, just play a little bit of this, Mike.
And we do have some speakers this evening. The first
Oh,
one
God.
is Alex Stein.
Look
And
at
I got
you.
the suit on. I got the
Yeah, you
suit.
got your
Trying to
suit
look
on.
nice.
No,
Primetime
damn, no
99,
clue.
Alex Stein, and I have a little presentation for you today. I have a little audio accompaniment, but I want to take a moment to think about the people of Ukraine and what they're going through. So I prepared a little song for them. Let me turn this on. I got it turned down a little bit. It's prime time. Let's start that one more time, guys. Come on in the audience. Let's vibe tonight. It's prime time. Officer, you know I'm on the ground.
The mic's clipping.
You know, gas prices are way too high.
Well, you're like,
come on, everybody. Put a bullet in Tin's head. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm a freak for the vaccine. Vaccinate my body at the party. Sipping Bacardi. I'm the proof when I'm in the booth, spitting on the mic.
It's hard to give it the context, but I'm saying, Jim, it's called culture jamming. Is you take the most absurd parts of our culture and you jam in their face, and it's purposely meant to be cringe because this is what they did. The TikTok nurses, Jim. When my mom was dying, I'd go to the Chick-fil-A at the bottom of the hospital, and I would see nurses on their phone doing a TikTok. And you know what? I'm pro creativity. I don't even care. I'm not mad at the nurses for making a TikTok. I encourage them to do that. But my point being is, this is a society where nurses or people are dying in the ICU and people are doing a dance. Oh, look at my TikTok. This is the harsh reality. The real world we live in is very weird, very doesn't even make sense. So that's what I was trying to do. I tried to put a mirror to that and expose it and say, this is what's going on. People are dying while people are making TikToks. People are doing, it's absurd. And that's what I try to, that's my humor is I try to mix absurdity and make it seem real. And I think that's a recipe for comedy, kind of like Goat Boy or something like that. It's like, man, you know what I mean? It's just so absurd that it's funny. Absurd. And I think that is for me, that's what's been successful in waking people up and making people laugh.
Well, I can't thank you enough, man. You make me laugh. I love watching your videos. I love how you confront people. I love how you come from an angle where they're just not sure if there's something wrong with you. If there is. They're like, who is this guy? And they just completely write you off immediately, and you're below us. And that's what I think I enjoy that. And I think we're starting to see more and more and more of that. And I hope we do. Thank God, because of people like you. I'm so glad you're out there, man. We need people like you out there just busting chops, exploiting. The more we can do it, the more we can laugh at them, the more ridiculous we make them look, the more their empire will come crumbling down. And I keep telling people, don't worry about it. We're not talking about violence. We're just talking about their reign of terror and power over you, me, Alex, and the world has to come to an end. We're done. It's done. Yeah. We need to exploit them and enjoy life.
And Jim, I just want to say it's a very surreal experience, a guy that is a hero of mine. And I mean, just, I've watched Half Baked 1 billion times. I mean, obviously everything you did on SNL, and I don't want to just kiss your butt. I'm just saying it's for me.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just saying it's a very surreal moment that I even get to come on a show with you and talk to you. And now I hope we'll be friends. It's like, what I'm saying is like minds are coming together, and people like you blowing the whistle when your special gets millions and millions of hits, making fun of vaccines. We need that. You are very important in this culture war, and I just want to, commend you on everything you're doing, because I know it's not an easy path to walk. I know even people within your family, my own family, my dad thinks I'm insane. And my mom is my biggest fan. My point being is, even the people that love us the most think we're crazy, and we still choose to walk this path. So I want to commend you for being yourself, Jim. And it's an honor and pleasure. And it's, like I said, a very surreal moment I get to talk to you. And thank you again.
And the same to you, Alex. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry I wore these sunglasses. It just
who cares?
My eyes are co-starring.
I don't even have pants, Jim. I don't even have pants on. So who cares? What are you talking about? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. I don't have pants on, dude.
Keep in touch, man. Let's swap contacts. And I thank you very much, Alex Stein. Everyone, take care,
Peace.
brother.
Hey, man, I want to thank Alex Stein for being on the show today. Check him out. Check out his videos. Also, JP Sears. This guy keeps getting better and better. And every time I think JP has outdone himself, he makes another video. I was going to play it on here, but it's like 15 minutes long. He does a sit down with the president. Bro, my hat's off to JP Sears. It is freaking, I laughed my ass off. It's freaking brilliant. It's so good. Check out JP Sears. That video he did while he's interviewing Biden is I reached out to him. He just, he said he was getting his own little production crew. He did it. Hats off to that guy. He's crushing it. Thank you, Alex, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Keep going after the system, and the same to all of you. Simplify your life. Keep the politics out. I know a lot of you still holding on to the politics. They're playing everybody. Everyone plays everybody. We take care of one another. Start taking care of your family, your neighbors, and don't bring up politics. Bring up your family. Bring up what's going on with your child, what's going on with your parents, what's going on with your neighbors. How can we help each other? Start going back to knocking on a door like, hey, man, I got some coffee, cake. You guys want everything cool, blah, blah, blah. Let's have a gathering tonight at the house. Austin, would you have a couple of cocktails and hang out? Get that back in your life. Turn the damn TV off. Stop watching Netflix. Stop watching all of it. Start getting to know everyone around you, because that's what's going to help you. And faith, man, I'm telling you, I'm not saying you got to run to a church or whatever, but it's all in here. It's in here. It's in here. God's in here. Oh, all you got to do is let out. Thanks for listening today. And as always, your comments are they're inspiring. Don't you think you're a little person, because I'm telling you, you make a big difference, more than you can ever imagine. More than you can imagine. I think a lot of you realize that. Have a great week. Next week, we'll see you in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to tell you about a cool event I'm doing in Nashville. We'll talk about that next week after I do it. So next week in Charlotte, North Carolina, I got a tour in November. I'm going to Buffalo, New York. And I just added a show to Boca Raton. Boca Raton on Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now. I'll be there. Go to jimbreuer.com for all that. The Patreon members, we had a great Zoom last week, and I'm going to start figuring out maybe some cooler stuff to bring them to hear somehow, some of the VIPs, because we have a good time. But anyway, at the end of the day, thank you for listening. I wish you well, and we'll catch you next week on the Breuniverse. This is Jim Breuer, and I got my own Patreon page, and hopefully you'll check it out. Live comedy concert streamed once a month. Weekly, you host your own podcast, and you interview me. Early access to the Breuniverse podcast every single week, and have bonus footage and bonus segments. I promise you I'm not going to let you down. Go check out my official Jim Breuer Patreon page, and I'll see you there.